Shawn Ray with David Baye here in front of the Marriott Hotel, moments before the New York Pro. We got 24 hours to go, and David, we got a little bit of peekaboo sun coming out, but a lot of clouds. It's kind of bright. You're going to wind up getting sunburned before we get to this preview.
Most likely.
But we are talking about the New York Championships, a long-running show here. Promoter Steve Weinberger and Bev Francis do a great job with this competition.
Absolutely.
And I know that Big Ramy had won it the last couple of years. Tell me a bit about the main players for this weekend's competition.
Well, Ramy was actually slated, I think, to do this show. You know, he switched nutritionists. He's with George Farah now. They wanted more time to get him really dialed in for the Arnold Brazil coming up. So he's out. That said, top players in this show: Max Charles, Juan Morel, Victor Martinez, and Alexander Fedorov, I think, are probably going to be your top four. I mean, we do have some other names. We have Daniel Toth. Big guy, a lot of muscle. Clarence Divis, a lot of potential, but hasn't really dialed it in. And, you know, a guy whose aesthetics are second to none, Henry Ano from Canada. But in the mass department, I don't know, he's going to be able to roll with some of the other guys.
Well, let's back up to some of those other guys. We talked about four big names for this contest. They're not huge names. The one that stands out most with the most experience is the Dominican, Victor Martinez. Now, this, on paper, for me, and he hates to hear me say this, but this is a contest that Victor's supposed to win.
Yeah, you know, Victor's got to be the favorite, especially being in New York. But, you know, Juan Morel's been coming on strong. He got fourth place his first time in 2012, third in 2013, second last year. So Juan's got a full head of steam, you know, going on, especially after a 10th place finish at the Olympia. And, you know, I don't think we can overlook Fedorov. Now, in Orlando last weekend, Alex came out on Friday. As you guys know, it was a two-day show. He came out on Friday, big as a house, but was soft. The changes he made from Friday to Saturday were absolutely incredible. He came out, was drier, leaner. Now, that was all after an international flight. He's had 8 days here in the state, and we all know a lot can happen in 8 days. So I think, you know, kind of that X factor is going to be whether Fedorov can really bring that conditioning. And if he does, I think he can push Juan and Victor.
Well, no question he's going to arguably be the biggest guy on stage. He took a long, extended layoff. I don't know if you knew this, but back in the day, he was a very strong Russian coming out of there. Tore his pec. That was the end of his career. He wound up being this big for a long time, and he packed on a lot of mass to make this comeback. And like you said, he didn't have the refinement, didn't have the detail, and that's where Victor would have to win this show, is on detail. And Juan Morel's not going to be a slouch. He's actually been improving and has been coming up the rear view for quite some time. Clarence Divis, he's a 212 bodybuilder that's competing at 230, and he's kind of a rock and a hard place for Clarence. He should actually be in the 212, but he just carries too much muscle to be there. I don't think he's going to be able to compete with those top three guys. After that, we do get to the 212-pound division, and there are a lot of guys in this competition that have a shot at this title.
Yeah, you know, going into it, I think everybody thinks, you know, hey, this is Guy Cisternino's show. But, you know, you can't overlook Mboya Edwards, Marco Rivera bringing a lot of mass to the 212 division. We have rookie Chris Tuttle. I mean, so it's definitely, you know, a favorite for Guy Cisternino as far as, you know, if we got to pick, you know, who's going to win. But you can't overlook any of these other guys. Shawn Clarita, you know, the giant killer, came out last year. I think everybody thought Shawn was going to be just way too undersized to do any damage here. He was in the top 6 here, and you're talking a guy who's 155, 160 pounds, speaks volumes about his aesthetics and the mass he is able to carry on that little frame.
Well, let me give you a little history lesson, David. Back in 2007, I added the 212-pound division to this very weekend along with Steve Weinberger. I'm glad to see him keep that competition for those little guys at 212 pounds, but there's other things going on besides the bodybuilding, which makes this weekend very special for the New York Pro.
Yeah, it's a big lineup. You know, some of the shows we see throughout the course of the year, the promoters handpick which divisions they want. We have, you know, pretty much everything here other than fitness. Going into men's physique, I'm just going to give you guys a real quick rundown of some of the other divisions. Matt Acton, Anton Antipov, got to be some of the favorites. We got a Russian, Denis Gusev, a little overlooked, but he's one of my favorites. Dean Balabas, Dean, saw him training the last 2 days in a row, looks really good. He won out in California at the end of the year last year, so men's physique is going to be tough. Yep. Moving on, looking at the women's physique, Ayana Carroll won last week in Orlando. We have Heather Grace here. We have Tammy Marie, top 10 finisher at the Olympia in the women's physique division. We also have a nationals winner from last year, Eva Nelson, in bodybuilding, actually transitioning over right away into the women's physique. She should be a contender. You know, if she can, you know, bring that look she brought to the bodybuilding stage just toned down a little bit.
Certainly have a longer career in the women's physique. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving into women's pro figure, a really good lineup. We have Andrea Calhoun, Allison Fran, newcomer Megan Olson, Bethany's sister Nino. If you guys are looking on the competitors list, she's gone back to her maiden name, Bethany Wagner. But my hands-down favorite for this weekend here in New York is Latoya Watts, 4th place finisher at the Olympia, 3rd place at the Arnold.
We watched her turn pro in Las Vegas together. She's awesome. Is there any other division?
Yeah, we got rounding things off with Bikini. India Paulino is here. I think she's probably your hands-on favorite. Stephanie Mahoy, Courtney King, Callie Bundy, Yurishna Ayala.
All right, calm down.
That was good. I mean,
there's
really good.
a long laundry list. A lot of girls in bikinis here this weekend. David and I are going to be bringing you all the play-by-play coverage along with Adina. Make sure you visit the website, www.musculardevelopment.online. Follow the play-by-play. It all gets started tomorrow at 11 o'clock at the New York Pro Championships. This is an Olympia qualifier, so in September, the champions will be headed to Las Vegas for the 51st anniversary of the Joe Weider Mr. Olympia. But for right now, David Baye and Shawn Ray at the New York Pro, 24 hours before prejudging.